Back in the day of the old Minecraft, when we had the usual suspects of mods such as thermal expansion and buildcraft, we also had mods that stood out by doing at least one thing that would be locked away in our mind vault forever. One of these mods is Dartcraft, a mod which makes you faster than a speeding bullet and allows you to leap tall mountains at a few single bounds. Dating back to around the year 2013, Dartcraft was blessed upon us by a mod author named Blue Dart, and it's made its debut on Minecraft version 1.4.7. Unfortunately, it has not made a long journey to modern Minecraft, as the last version, as far as I know, was for Minecraft 1.6.4, and this is exactly the version I used to revisit Dartcraft. The most notable memories I had of Dartcraft was being able to run fast, jump high, fly, and treat large bodies of water like an interstate highway. My revisit of Dartcraft did not disappoint regarding these abilities. At first glance, this mod looks like an armor and tools mod, and that is true. Aside from the armor and tools, there are other interesting things that made this mod worthwhile. There's a lot that Dartcraft can do, but it does not make you invulnerable and super powerful. While Dartcraft being overpowered is debatable, we all have our own playstyle, and we decide if a certain line should be drawn and whether we should cross it or not. So what is Dartcraft? What does it do? According to the About section in the Book of Madura, the mod is to make farming more tolerable and enchantments more accessible. Is this the case? It certainly is. I have not touched on farming in my revisit playthrough, but in a more general sense, or rather a more non-vegetarian sense, I was able to make quick work of the instant fauna in order to fulfill my needs. As for the enchantments, they are what makes Dartcraft shine. The application of these enchantments is what will stick in our minds when we have had our fun with the mod. It's not difficult to learn how Dartcraft works. You can pretty much stumble through it. I only have had 1 to 2 issues during my playthrough. In a general sense, you will need force to make, power, and enchant your Dartcraft stuff, and to do that, you need to mine force gems. You learn and use the enchantments on the force infuser with that force resource. You have your usual enchantments, which mirror the vanilla ones, which may or may not work exactly the same way, such as knockback, punch, fortune, looting, and silk touch. Then you have the enchantments which do not have vanilla counterparts. I will point out the ones that I find most useful to me. Speed. Using sugar, you can make pickaxes mine faster, give yourself a speed boost via the speed force rod, or even make yourself fast all the time with speed armor. Grinding. Using a flint will give your pickaxe a grinding effect, allowing you to get dust ores. This will be useful for ore duplication. Freezing. Using a snow cookie, you can put freezing on your bow and sword to freeze mobs for a short time. Bleed. Using an arrow, you can put bleed on a sword and a bow. Time. Using a clock, you can add time to force swords and rods. This is much more useful on a force torch or a force rod used to stop or fast forward entities. Heat. Using a golden source power, you can put heat on a force tool to auto smelt ores or to set things on fire for fun. You can also put heat on your armor because then you'll be on fire, or a bit more fire resistant. Wing. Using a rock's feather, you can put wing on a force sword or armor to allow you to dart in the air repeatedly, fly for a short time, very short time, jump higher, jump a second time in the air, and float back down to the ground. Healing. Using a gas tier, you can heal things, yourself, a cow, or a sheep. What? Why would you heal a baddie? Sight. Using a potion of night vision, you can get night vision with a force rod without the use of potions for a short time. Sturdy. Using a diamond dust, you can put unbreaking on all the things. Ender. Using an ender pearl, you can teleport yourself or others short distances using the sword, the rod, or a bow. Those are some of the enchantments you can place on your tools, armor, and weapons in any order or combination you want. You can even have different sets of armors, weapons, or tools for certain tasks. At the end of my revisit of Dartcraft, what do I think of it? I think the mod does hold up in its attempt to make things more tolerable and accessible. While it did make things easier, it added its own things that didn't make it easier. I did have to mine quite a bit for resources, even with Vein Miner. I had to collect certain things to learn the Dartcraft enchantments, including the ones that I had no interest in, but had to learn to unlock the next enchantment. A lot of force resources had to be spent and then thrown out in order to learn the enchantment. Not only did I need the force gems to move forward, I need the experience and the MJ power from Force Engine to do it. I believe the disadvantages do not outweigh the difficulties of Minecraft 1.6.4. The enchantment overhaul did not happen until 1.8, and the villager trading overhaul did not happen until 1.14. There are other mods that can solve some of my disadvantages, such as Vein Miner. Dartcraft does attempt to solve some of its requirements by allowing us to double our ores, being able to mine a little bit better, and give us the ability to make and capture mob spawners for XP. If I had to obtain the vanilla enchantments, I would have had to leave Minecraft open for hours while standing near a pit of villagers, or had to stand at a mob box and repeatedly swipe my sword at a hole. With all the force tools, weapons, and armor taking up permanent residence in my force packs and inventory, the entire playthrough just stops. I feel there is a certain disconnect between the force stuff and the vanilla stuff. I can decide never to make the vanilla tools and armor with the usual enchantments, and have the force stuff take its place. If I do decide to make the vanilla stuff, such as diamond armor with protection 4, I will still have to farm villages in the hopes of getting the right one selling it, or getting lucky at the enchantment table after grinding a lot of XP. Of course, Dartcraft can make it easier by mindlessly farming mobs with force weapons and moving villagers around with force flasks, or even spawning them in an expensive to make spawner. The reason for wanting the enchanted diamond armor is because I believe the enchanted force armor alone will not do well to protect me against higher tier mobs. Time and time again, I take a beating from the likes of Enderman and zombie pigmen. Even when battling overworld mobs, getting overwhelmed is not a good thing. There are ways of mitigating the damage, such as using time magic, freezing, just speeding and jumping around, and using the heal rod repeatedly. There's also another limiting factor for which I have come to dislike, and that's the force bar. Sure, by wearing a full set of force armor, you can get the max amount of force meter, but it's not enough. When I'm in a tense situation and cannot be worrying about the inadequacies of the force armor protection and running out of force. This is very apparent when I had to fight the Wither and the Dragon with the force bow. In certain modes, every arrow shot will take a bit off the force meter. Once you run out, one tap can take you out. The ability to fly is limited to only flying up to a roof or a structure or a mountain. I would think twice before running across a large body of water. Sure, there are potions to restore the force meter, or I can just stop and rest to refill the meter, but that requires me to actively worry about running out of force, and not every now and then. It took me 3 playthroughs to finally dial in the playstyle I wanted in Dartcraft. When I first played Dartcraft back in the day, it made me feel empowered, and it gave me more control over the game. I wanted to experience that again. Although I didn't reach the same path this time around, I was able to experience the things I didn't do back in the day. I was able to farm the animals like Dartcraft intended. I was able to make mob spawners, capture them and its mobs, and stuff them in a grinder. I was able to respawn with all my items intact at the same location. I was able to double my ores without resorting to Industrial Craft 2. And of course, the item that made the Dartcraft armor okay to use, even if it's at iron level protection, the Time Torch. In Dartcraft, you can make force torches. They can be colored, they can be fired from a force bow, they can be enchanted. You can make a force torch that can heal at an interval, and you can make a force torch that can stop entities in their tracks. You can also enchant a weapon with time, but using it on a mob will not stop them in their tracks indefinitely, and it's certainly not an area effect. With the time torch, all I have to do is place it down, and the mobs freeze in a certain area, including the ones that move into its time freezing bubble. This allows you to not take damage, not get overwhelmed by mobs, and allow you to take out each entity at your own leisure. Since it affects entities, drops and certain projectiles also stop in their tracks, including your own arrows. This is where some of the overpowered stuff comes in. With the Time Torch, you can even stop bosses, such as the Wither and the Ender Dragon. I didn't have much luck with stopping the Wither completely, but it seems to be working okay. The Time Torch is so OP, it can even stop the Ender Fountain from spawning after you defeat the dragon. Now, I will haphazardly show you around the world for a bit and show off as many things as I can at random. Alright, welcome back to Minecraft 1.6.4. This is the old Minecraft with Dartcraft installed. I do have some other mods installed, but the main reason we're here is to check out Dartcraft. I have my Dartcraft gear, I have my pickaxes, swords, axes, you name it, and look at that, we have extra utilities in here too. So, Dartcraft is, well, when you're starting out this world, you will need to do the typical Minecraft things, such as farming, the animals are over there, some trees over here, you need to build a base, and you need to gather a whole ton of resources. So, in order to start with Dartcraft, you will need to make something called a force infuser, which is right here. This is the main machine that we use to make gears, enchant all your weapons and your tools and your armor, which all the enchantments. So in order to learn these enchantments, you need to make a upgrade tome and place it in this machine. This will live in here forever. You will need to click this button constantly in order to look at all the enchantments that you can learn. This is they give you this right off the bat. You need to find these particular items in order to learn all these enchantments, such as the force nuggets, the bat claws, the sugar, force logs, etc., etc. So there is like 2, 3, 4 pages of enchantments for you to learn. And all of these are grayed out. These are silhouettes or shadows of its items that you need to figure out what it is. And it's not hard to figure out, so all you have to do is look in NEI, which is right here, and you just figure it out. So, such as a snow cookie, it kind of looks like an emerald or a diamond or whatever like that, but you'll eventually figure it out if you mess around with it. So in order to enchant all your items, you need to place something inside in the middle like that. Can I place that in here? Yeah, I can. So you place an item in here that's unenchanted, and then you can just put all your items in here that you want to enchant, and yeah, use liquid force in order to enchant stuff. You also need the MJ power from buildcraft, and in order to get MJ power, you can use another mod to put power into this infuser, or you can make something called force engine, which Dartcraft gives it to you. And you will need liquid force inside the engine in order to convert that into MJ power. And in order to get all these resources, liquid force and stuff, you will need something called force gems. Let's see, where was that? You will need some force gems like this. And in order to get force gems, you will have to do a lot of mining. And in order to do a lot of mining, you'll need a good pickaxe. So Dartcraft does mitigate the grinding a little bit in order to make it a little bit better. So you can put speed, silk touch, unbreaking, that sort of thing. You can also right click in order to activate area mode, but I don't really follow that, so I just install Vein Miner and be done with it. So it will take a while in order to enchant all the items, get all the weapons and the armor that you want. And right off the bat, you only get like about 1 or 2 slots. And after you learn each tier of items, they'll start giving you more of these slots in order to enchant your armor. So in the beginning, you'll use pretty much noob weapons and noob gears, and you'll quickly throw it out as soon as you learn the next tier. So let's go out and test some of this stuff. It's nighttime, so that's convenient. Here's the villager experiment that I did earlier. You can ignore that. And let's see if I can activate the rods. So over here in my hotbar, I have the force belt. Excuse me, I was talking. Over here on my hotbar, I have something called a force belt. If you right-click it, I store all my force rods in here. I have my force rod of restoration, fire resistance, vision, the rod of return, and regular force rod, and the baconator. So I have to set. Excuse me. Don't step on my crops. What are you doing? Here, come here. Come here. Alright, so you can set hotkeys to anything on your belt. Let's see. 1. Alright, that's heal. 2, I forgot what 2 is. Fire resistance. 2 is fire resistance, and 3 is night vision. Ah, that's much better. Alright, so let's take out some baddies. There's a nice creeper over here. Here, come here. Ooh, ooh. Hey. There we go. Much better. Whoa, whoa, okay, okay. Calm down, calm down. Okay, so as you notice, it drops something called a mob chunk, which I already have right here. I have some zombie chunks in here. You can use these to make various things, but the main reason you use them for is to make mob spawners, which is very useful. Very useful for creating your mob farms and getting a lot of XP. Hey, come here. Alright, so this sword that I'm using, it has Bane, Freezing, Soul, Damage, Looting, and Smite. So Smite, you already know what that is. It's against undead. Looting, you pretty much know what that is. That's vanilla enchantments, stuff like that. Using the back claws, you can get damage. Soul, I forgot what Soul is. I believe that is to... Yeah, I didn't really know what it is, but you can look it up in the Force Infuser because it has descriptions, and you can use the book. Another item that I can show you right now is the Force Pack. It's basically a bag, and early on, you'll need to make a Book of Maduras just to tell you, just to figure out what stuff in Dartcraft does. So you open that, and it tells you certain things, such as the Force Tools, and the Force Swords, and the Force Bows. It also tells you other things such as magic, like a flask, some of the mobs that you'll be encounter, the force gem, the basics, and it basically tells you what you need to do. It doesn't like hold your hand or anything. It basically guides you in the right direction. So yeah, the Book of Mordor is kind of important. So let's put that back in here. In the force pack, what was I looking for? I forget what I was looking for. Let me just get the shears here. Let me just put some stuff away. Okay, there we go. Put that away, put this away, and there we go. Alright, so another mod that you want to install if you are going to be mining a whole bunch is called the Open Blocks mod. And the reason I installed the Open Blocks mod for the elevator blocks and for something called Dev No. So if you are going to be mining a lot, you'll obviously be dropping a lot of stone and a lot of blocks that you don't really want anymore. So yeah, so you can install the Dev No, and it'll be quite useful to you. So going back to the sword, we have Soul, Freezing, and Bane. Let's go back to the Force Infuser and check out the description for each ones. So you click the Force Infuser and you click this little button at the top. It'll tell you what each of the items does, such as the back claws give you damage. That's the damage description. Force is for knockback and stuff like that. Sugars for speed. The Force logs for lumber. Lapis for rainbow, fortunes for luck. You got holding, you got grinding, you got freezing, experience. What does the experience do? Oh, okay, that's for making experience stuff. False, that's for capturing mobs. Make it easier to capture mobs. This is Silk Touch. This is bleed. Crafting, that's for item cards and stuff like that. Time, haha, we'll deal with time later. We got heat, Bane. Ah, here we go, Bane. When an entity is struck with a Bane imbued weapon, they are likely to lose some of their inherent abilities. Creepers and Endermen are perfect examples of this principle. Oh, that's why I put Bane on the weapon. If you hit like an Enderman with a Bane infused weapon or something like that, it will stop from teleporting. Let's see if we can stop this creeper from exploding in our faces, because we do have a Bane weapon. Oh, it stopped. Wow. Okay, that works. Amazing. Alright, so what other stuff do I have on here? Soul? What soul is? I think that is Smite? No, it can't be Smite, is it? Let's check it out. Let's see. Luck, holding, bleed, craft, time, bane, storage, forge, wing, healing, camel, sight, sturdy, ender. Ah, here we go. The soul upgrade on the Force swords and socketed power swords will occasionally cost. Oh, okay. That causes more chunks to drop, so that's what it does. All right, so let's go back to the mobs, and I'll show you the OP item, which is the Time Torch, which is completely wonderful. Ah, here's one. I can't do anything now, huh? You can't even explode. It just stops them in their tracks. But of course, there is downsides to having the Time Torch, is that sometimes you can't pick up the mob drops. You just can't pick them up. You just gotta left click it in order to pick it up. So that's one downside, because the mob drops are entities after all. So yeah, that's a Time Torch. You can use it on withers, you can use it on ender dragons, etc, etc. You can even stop projectiles from coming at you. And let's test it out on this Skelly. Yeah, fantastic. It just stops it. It's like a statue. But of course, if you use the arrow on the skelly, it might not work because the arrows might go through the time freezing bubble, and it'll stop it. There we go. You have to shoot from inside the bubble in order for it to work. Look at that. Oh, amazing. All right. So what other Dartcraft things that I'm going to show you right now? Force wrenches. You can go into the Nether and pick up all the blaze spawners and bring them back to the overworld. I believe I kept them right here. I don't know where I put them. I think I left them right here. Ah, there they are. Oh boy. Fire resistance. Fire resistance. Ow. Okay, I got it. I got it. Oh yeah, I picked up some silverfish spawners too. Where did the silverfish come from? Is this a silverfish? Oh, there it is. Okay. Alright, there we go. Job done. It didn't really take that much of a massive hit. Alright, let's get out of here. Alright, so the basic stuff that once you get a full set of armor, force armor, and then you put some enchantments on there. So the enchantments that I go with is heat, speed, wings, sturdy, and what else did I put on it? Yeah, that's about it. So heat makes you more fire resistance, but not completely. Speed on all of these makes you speed around, and wing makes you jump high, auto step up, and stuff like that. And I also put sturdy on it, so that's kind of unbreaking. So all of these armor, they give you iron level protection. It's not diamond or anything like that, so it's nothing special. So it's not like end gaming or anything, but it's better than trying to grind out all the enchantments that is in vanilla Minecraft 1.6.4. So yeah, it's better than nothing. Dartcraft does give you these things early if you're willing to work just a little bit for it. So with Dartcraft, you can auto step up height, such as so. You can also run very fast. You can also jump high. You can also double jump and glide down. And then you can also run across water. Because when you're doing that, don't do it forever because you gotta keep an eye on your force meter at the top over there. By default, it's at the top left for you. But if you're running over water, just be mindful of the force meter at the top. You will run out this force. I wish there was an enchantment to make it give you more force, but you know, it's you gotta work with what you're given. All right, so let's go back to the home base and we'll check out the Nether. Alright, so another notable things that I have to show you in the Nether is that it may be a dangerous place to start out in at first, but once you got all the enchantments and all the accessories and stuff like that, you can survive in the Nether quite easily. So you just gotta be careful of where you run to and where you jump to and stuff like that. So with soul sand, it's a joke. You can just jump right over it, you can run over it, etc, etc. Just keep in mind that you need your force rods of fire resistance so you don't take fire damage. Just keep pressing it every now and then and you'll be okay. It wouldn't hurt to jam the night vision as well, but keep in mind that every time you jam the button, it takes a little bit off your force meter, so just be mindful of that. So you can run through fire, no problem, and yeah, you can take out gas easily because you can jump right at them. And no problem. You can take out gas, you can take out anything you want. So the zombie pigments, they're also a joke, so let me just get my good old time torch. Just place it down like so. Hit one of them. Be like, hey, what's up? Let's go. You want to come at me? Come on. No? Okay. I'll take all you suckers out. There you go. That's for coming at me early on in my Minecraft career. So there you go, job done. There's another gas. We can take it out easily, and then we just jam the fire resistance button a couple of times. And be mindful of the wither skeletons. They can still wither you. The blazes are not a problem anymore. Just worry about the wither skeletons, you'll be fine. And be careful not to miss your jumps, because it'll be a pain in the ass to jump back up here, because there is a limit of how far you can jump. Aha! Got you! And there we go. The nether is easy peasy with all these enchantments and all these tools and stuff like that. You just gotta figure out what combination that you plan on using and what works out for you. What else can I show you? Ah, of course. Did I mine the spawner from here? Yes, I did mine the spawner from here. And in order to do that, you need to make a force wrench. So you can just bring it back to your base, make a good old mob spawner room type thing, and you can have fun with it. So another thing that I can show you is that you can, not only can you run across the water in the overworld, you can also run across the lava in the nether. But you need specific gear in order to do that. So let me just get back to the lava here. And I'm just going to jump down here. This looks like a large body of lava. So let me just get down to about here. And I'm going to jam the fire-resistant rod just a couple of times. And then I'm going to run across it. No problem. Because this is the only way that you can do it, is to have fire resistance. Because if you take damage, obviously, it will stop you from gliding across the lava. And you won't be able to get out of the lava. So, yeah. This is pretty cool. But be mindful, if you run out of force meter, you will just sink. So, yeah, Dartcraft is fun. It's fun to problems. Where? I'm fine. That's because I have the heat enchantment. And yeah, that's cool. So that's Dartcraft for you. And let me just teleport out of here. Portal. There we go. Let's go back. And of course, we are in 1.6.4, so the portals are still a little wonky in this version. So, you can run across water, do all the things, and what other stuff can I show you? Let's see what's in here. Bottle fairies, I could have used that. If you eat it or get your face ripped off by a mob or something like that, the fairy will resurrect you. So, in order to find that, you need to dig underground and find the structure that you need to use a bomb in order to get into, and you bottle up the fairies, and that's how you get the bottle fairies. With the 4 shears, let me show you the animals, because that's part of the Dartcraft experience. So I have been farming a whole bunch of animals because, you know, I need the XP. And in order to get all the leather and all the meat and stuff like that, you can just right-click all the mobs like this. And then you can get all the leather and meat that you want. And then all they have to do is eat some grass, and then they just turn back to normal. But the pigs, you can just right-click that with the shears, and you get bacon. And then you can cook them to cook bacon and put it in the baconator. And then you can leave it in your force belt, and then it'll auto-feed you. So that's a great feature right there. With the chickens, you can right-click in order to get chicken, eggs, feathers, and stuff like that. And you can use the feathers to make more force arrows. With the sheep, you can get lots of wool. I'm not sure if you can get food from that, but if you put lapis on your shears, you can get colored wool at random. That's cool. So yeah, let's see. Force pack. Let's see what else I have to show you. Bucket of force. That's nothing special. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's about it that I can show you that's notable. You can make chests, storage units, and expand them. Look at that. That's fantastic. Look at all the storage. I didn't even use the top row, did I? Yeah, I didn't even use the top row. These things are filled with space. Alright, so that has been Dartcraft. So you can check it out. It's if you want to go back to 1.6.4, you can. Just install a couple of mods, just to fix a couple of things, you know. Just install that mod which turns on sprint toggle, and install some vein miner, install some extra utilities. You know, it's meant to be played with mods. So yeah, let's get back to the script. The last version I was able to find before the mod developers stopped working on it was beta 0.2.20 version 2. There may have been plans for better armor or better enchantments to solve my negatives. We may never know. I believe Dartcraft is a mod made for the first half of the game and could potentially replace the vanilla stuff you have to grind in order to obtain. Dartcraft does indeed reduce the grinding and the farming, supposedly making certain things more fun. In the end, I will always remember Dartcraft will allow me to run fast, jump high, and run over water. I was blown away by what it did back in the day, and I'm still blown away by what I discovered years later. If you are intrigued, go check it out, and I hope you experience Dartcraft for what it has to offer. Thank you for watching. Feel free to do the typical YouTube things such as subscribing, hitting the bell, and checking out my other content on other platforms. I'll see you next time.